Good evening and welcome to the Site Golf Shop. I'm Aeson, and of course tonight I'm sitting down with Miss Sandie, who's fresh back from vacation.
Hey everyone.
Yeah, off exploring the Great West.
The Wild Wild West.
Uh-huh.
There are a lot of signs in Oklahoma saying, "Oh, you can't bring a gun in here."
Kind of like your theme.
So I want to have a situation where I can bring my gun in. I'm Alyssa. So in New York City, you can't bring a gun anywhere, at any time. But
I could, here in West Virginia, we're open carry. Well, actually, we're carry whenever, open or closed.
Mm-hmm.
And I could see, Walmart has to have signs that say you cannot bring your weapon in here, no concealed carry, which is their corporate policy. I think they may want to look at changing that policy because of current recent events. But,
correct. Yeah, I feel like I need to be wearing a gun everywhere I go at the moment.
It gets interesting. It really does. Of course, current events is kind of a little scary. What's your thoughts on current events?
Very scary. They're very, very bad. My parents were Holocaust survivors, as you know.
Yeah.
And so this brings back some very bad memories, and it's not good. It's not a good situation at all, and a lot of anti-Semitism going on downtown. So it's kind of scary.
Okay, what am I missing there? Because I didn't know there was anti-Semitism going on.
Oh yeah, downtown there are people out there actually supporting Hamas. Downtown.
I just can't. I can't with them. When humans get stupid, I can't do it anymore.
Yeah, me either. And I was going to send you a little joke. I said Joseph a joke comedian, and I was going to say there are two types of people in the world, and I don't like them. There are two types of people in the world, and I don't like them. But
I don't like them either.
Yeah. Hamas, people at downtown supporting Hamas, and New York happens to be the most populated city in the United States with the Jewish people. We've got the biggest population of Jewish people besides Israel. And
and that's because if you are going to come into the United States, unless you're coming through the southern border, you come through New York. You have to go through all of that in New York.
Right.
Yeah.
So there we go. That's what's the latest thing. So I'm not happy with that situation at all. And that impacted on me pretty heavily in the last few days.
It's not only impacting you, it's impacting me. Because we're seeing this vibe up. For me, it's like, okay, the perfect storm is about ready to go. We have financial difficulties going on.
Yes.
When I mean financial difficulties, the economy's down. Closing this debt thing. We have short, we're looking already now at pipelines being short. And then now we've got these two conflicts that are very diverse. And we have a house getting very, they're changing speakers of the houses. There's a lot of government influx.
Right. So everything's kind of weird at the moment. And the southern border is kind of scary too, period.
See, I don't see the southern border as kind of scary. I think that the southern border, we have a personnel problem.
Right.
Okay. Because in all honesty, the reason that we're having, squash shortages and apple shortages and all this is because we can't get people to pick them because they shut the border down last year and they rotted on the vine. I think that we need to take a different look at our southern border and be going, what do we need to do here to make this work? Do we need to issue passes and just like, okay, you get to come into the country for 180 days and then you have to go out for 3 months?
Right.
I think that if it was that direction, we'd have a lot better behavior.
Right. Yeah. So, but New York's got a bit of a problem because we've got all these. Pardon?
That's what happens with the Canadian border.
Right. We've got like all these illegal immigrants have come into New York somehow, and now we're overcrowded and they're all on the street. So now we've got the homeless on the street. We've got the illegal immigrants on the street. We've got Hamas protesting. We've got a Jewish population protesting. So downtown has turned into like some horror story.
Well, I think downtown New York has been a horror story for a couple of years now.
Yeah, has been. So that's why everyone's trying to get out of New York.
Well, New York has its place. Like it's become a central hub of government. It's the original capital of the United States.
Yes.
It's the capital of the UN. We're going to have people there with vast different opinions.
Yeah, I mean, but just generally speaking, New York's lost its charm in the last couple of years.
Understandably.
And the economy here is absolutely outrageous, and the rents have gone up, and you really can't live here comfortably anymore. You have to get out. One has to get out if they can to live comfortably. I mean, for example, where you live, or even in Oklahoma, I found that, you know, the amount of money that we spend here on rent, etc. I'm living in luxury in Oklahoma with fresh air.
Let's be nosy. How much does Sandie spend a month on rent?
It's over $2,000 for a regular 2-bedroom apartment. That's not even luxurious. Over $2,000 a month. Yeah, it's a lot of money.
Give me a moment here. What is?
And for New York, that's cheap. For New York, that's cheap.
We'll go to realtors.com, shall we?
Yeah.
Do you have a pool?
No.
Okay. Do you want
outside
home or apartment?
It's an apartment building in a big building, no outside area at all.
Okay.
I'm telling you now, it's expensive to live
I
here.
know. This is the reason I'm asking you these questions: is do you want a pool, or do you want a single standing home? Because here's a 3-bedroom, 1-bath. That's okay.
Yeah.
Home for rent in Beckley, West Virginia, which is the town over from me.
Yeah.
It's a little bit country. You know, it's dated for 1980s. Wants their kitchen back. But it's huge, 2-story, and it's half of that. It's $1,000 a month.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. See, we've been living in this apartment for years now, so that's why I rent's $2,000. But if we try to move somewhere, right, I can see a dark place who's saying, "Oh, my buddy pays $3,500 a month." That's really cheap for a 2-bedroom apartment in Manhattan. By the way, that person must have lived there for a long time. See, we try to move to another apartment, we're looking at like $3,000 to $4,000 a month,
right?
And you still don't get anything for it. You still like all you've got is the apartment, no outside area, no nothing. Whereas in Oklahoma, they had a house that was like 2 doors down from them, a whole house, backyard, everything, for like under $1,000 a month, right? And you're living in comfort, and you got fresh air, and it's peaceful, and you know you drive. She lives in Enid. You drive into Oklahoma City, which is like a couple of hours away. Even the city is clean and spacious and fresh, and you know it's
right.
Even Tulsa, we drove to Tulsa. That's supposed to be even more built up, right? And it's supposed to have like a bit of a homeless issue. We drove around the whole city. I saw 2 homeless people, or one homeless people, one that may be homeless. We weren't sure, but it was clean and beautiful and cheap, and you can live there and breathe, and and you don't see there's, I sat in the backyard with my friend, and not one scream, not one argument, not one anything going on. And but here, it's
problematical.
There's a lot of activity a lot of the time.
Yeah, and see, that's going to be your drawback. If you come to the country, it's going to be very quiet.
Yes, no, it's good though. That's good. I was happy. I was happy that I heard nothing except a dog bark occasionally, or someone mowing their lawn, or some normal living noise. Not people going stabbing each other, shooting each other. Having major arguments over I don't know what.
Yeah, like here, $3,500 a month could pay for your rent and all your utilities, and you'd still have money for groceries.
In Florida, all the southern states are way cheaper than
Yeah, Florida's debatable. I mean, they've got a lot of weird rentals there. Like, of course,
compared to here.
You
get way more bang for your buck. I swear, if I was paying $20,000 a month for an apartment in Florida, for a start, it would be a townhouse, not an apartment, with a backyard area, a swimming pool. Maybe it's a shared swimming pool, but you have a much more luxurious, comfortable feel. You can't even get a townhouse in New York City. You don't have townhouses here at all. You either got an apartment or you've got some shared house sort of situation. And and I don't understand why people would want to pay millions of dollars to live in Manhattan, because Manhattan's gone to hell. Why would you want to live there? And if they pay millions of dollars to live in Manhattan to buy something, and so what would you? Why? When you pay, if you got millions of dollars, you can live anywhere basically. Number one, and number two, for millions of dollars, what kind of house you'd be living in West Virginia or Oklahoma.
Honey, some very nice homes here for $1 million. If the property values keep going up, this house is going to be for $1 million. I mean, I bought this house in '92 for a very low amount compared to, it's now gone 5 times higher than what it should be.
Yeah, that's going to change again though, early in the year.
Yeah, Zello keeps telling me how rich I am, and I'm like, this is insane.
Yeah. Well, for a start, Dark Heights Mistress, I don't want a house that's worth $1 million. I just want a regular little nice house with a backyard and a pool maybe, and
that's
a front garden. Yeah, 250,000, something like that. Nice little cottage. Maybe 3 bedrooms, maybe 4 bedrooms, but still, not huge.
Right.
Yeah.
But you have drawbacks, especially when you live in West Virginia. There are drawbacks. Power outages are a thing here.
Yeah. Same in New York.
Government sucks.
Yeah.
Internet outages, poor choices of internet services.
That's in Virginia, right? West Virginia.
Yeah, that's here. Cell phone services suck. Internet services, you have one provider. Medical is a joke. I drive 5 hours to find a qualified doctor. These are the drawbacks to living here.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Personally, I'm looking to. I've threatened that when I get to the retirement age, I'm out of this state.
Oklahoma's beautiful. Oklahoma's got strong internet. It's a strong state. I loved it there. I can't explain. I love Oklahoma.
Well, and they have some really good tax benefits. Wyoming, we're seeing everyone move out of LA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Dark Heights is come live near me. I've lived where you live, my dear.
Where do you live? Where does she live? Where does Dark Heights live?
She lives near the capital of the state. You know, so she gets a little bit, in West Virginia. She lives more towards the center of the state and the more advanced area of the state. But you go out of the bigger cities, and granted, our bigger cities are nowhere near the size of New York. The further you go out, the worser it is.
Well, if I had a choice, I'd move if I had a choice, and I'd have to worry about getting another law enforcement job. If I won the lottery or whatever, for example, I could say, retire. You can retire now. I won the lottery. I'd move to Oklahoma.
Understandable. I would agree with that. And what's strange is, she could probably get hired here in law enforcement quick and easy.
Probably. Yeah. And Oklahoma.
But when she looks at her salary, she's going to go, "What?"
Yeah. No, she understands that. But the thing is, the cost of living is cheaper. Therefore, when you it balances out.
It does.
Yeah.
It really does. The
value I'm working,
of the dollar is different.
Yeah. If I'm working, we're both working, so.
Yeah.
But then she likes the beach. So if I won that $1 billion lottery, someone in LA won it. Actually, if I would have won that, I would have bought something in Florida near the beach. Actually, so my daughter would be happy by the beach there, and bought a house in Oklahoma, so I could travel to Oklahoma and be in Florida and Oklahoma and Florida, and never go back to New York City again.
How many years experience does she have?
She's got 11 years on now.
Okay, then she's looking at about 45 a year.
Yeah, that's like a third of what she earns now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we're not going anywhere at this point in time. We've given up on Florida. We're not moving to Florida at this point in time. She's got 9 years to retirement. Where Bastion's finishing up high school this year. He's looking at colleges. So we're just staying here for the time being.
Right. And and that's understandable. And at least and that's the cool thing about New York. She's going to pension and get a check for the rest of her life. That's not so often.
No. She's got that's the upside. She's got a really secure job.
Right.
And a really good job. And it's really hard to get to NYPD. And she got in. She's good at her job. She's well liked. She's well respected. She does her job well. And she's got a certain empathy for certain people. She's very good at her job and very well liked by everybody. Even the criminals like her. So ironically, they even like her. They love her. So she's had positive experience with criminals. She's got this very positive aura about her, and she's positivity.
Well, not only that, but she probably gets better treated. Like, this is weird, but once you work the area and you get a connection with the community, and yes, you have your criminals, but they're going to respect you because they know who you are.
Right. And that's funny, because she used to teach before she was a cop. She used to teach ELA, English as a second language, and she worked at a community place where people went when they were unemployed, needed to retrain everything. They were on some sort of welfare thing, and she was teaching them how to do their resumes and how to do this, and teaching them English and stuff that's necessary. And some of them are criminals, and some of them, like she was in the Bronx at one point, and they would recognize her, and they come running up to her and give her a big hug and, "Hey, how you doing?" And she was like part of the hood, but not, and they just respect the hell out of her. And she treats everybody with respect. Everybody. It doesn't matter who you are, what walk of life you come from. Everyone gets equal respect. And she also can speak Spanish fluently. Different dialects of Spanish. Dialects of Spanish. So she's actually certified as a translator as well. So,
but that was the thing that was surprising to me when I was with a past husband that was in law enforcement. We would be out, and some of his old, people would walk up to him, comment, hug him, all this, and I'm like, who was that? And he's like, oh, I put him in jail 12 years ago.
Yeah. What is that?
I'm like, what is this?
Oh, Bryn, hi, how are you? My best friend, treat her with respect. Tell her, it's just unbelievable. And when she first started on the force, when she was a rookie, they put her out alone on a corner in the Bronx, in the South Bronx. You know what that's like. Right. But they knew her. And she was just treated with respect, and she treated everyone else with respect. And she was, it's amazing. She's I'm very proud of her. I'm very proud.
And I think that's the key point there, is if you treat them with respect, you're going to get respect back.
Like, and it's genuine respect.
Yeah, it's like, I done my job and you fucked up. You're doing your job. We'll get this over with before noon. My lawyer will be here by 12:01, and I'll be back on the street. Let's just do it that way, okay? Yeah. Like, I think the American public have watched Cops so much,
right?
That they think that it's this Guns and Rippers thing, and it's like, no. Especially when you have what he used to call
my daughter has not used her gun once in 11 years. Not once.
That's not surprising.
And we're in New York City.
Right. But also, I hate to say this, New York cops are trained better than the U.S. military.
Yeah, we've got intense training, which is why we were surprised that Florida turned her down. Florida turned her down. And she's got like the most intense training. NYPD are the most heavily trained police officers in the world. And their training is continuous. And she's exotic as well, because she's from Australia. She's only cop on the force from Australia. She can speak Spanish, different dialects of Spanish. She's got a Jewish background, so she can relate to different, religions and stuff like that. And it's just she's very diverse in her thinking and very good at what she does. She does her job properly and she does it right. And she completely contradictory of what a lot of people think of police officers. Completely.
Well, and that's probably why they turned her down. Is she's probably too qualified. She is not part of the old boys club. She's going to come in there and make the old boys club a problem. Like, she'll be sitting in the Office of Internal Affairs so often they might as well just move her desk there, because we've seen the problems out of Florida police time and time again. They're poorly trained. That's on court record. They tend to be very much old boys club. I know that their unions always have trouble out of their officers.
Well, they turned down one of the sergeants applied at Florida as well, and he got turned down.
Yeah,
and we were like, "What the hell's going on?" They hate NYPD. And that turned me off Floridians. It made me sick. Actually, I kind of got turned off Floridians as people because of that.
Well, and I think that has a lot to do, but it has nothing really to do with your daughter. Or the other one that applied and got turned down. It has to do with what I call the old boys club.
Right.
And Southern police are famous for the old boys club.
Right.
They only hire the ones they know. And it's very clandestine.
Right.
And that can be very problematical.
Yeah. Well, you had DeSantis, telling everyone they can't come to Florida. Any cops that they want to, and so they all tried, and they hate NYPD officers. What are you going to do? So,
and that's because they're more skilled than their own police chiefs.
Correct.
And
they should be honored that she was applying there, and they treated her like dirt.
Right. But it's human behavior to not want to hire your replacement. That's why I think it's cruelty in corporate jobs when you have to train your replacement.
I know it is. It is.
Yeah. So.
Well, so that was that subject. So nothing. Those two subjects are covered now: the police department and the political horror story that's going, and the horror story of Israel.
So, it's so repeating history. Like, are we in a Q experiment at this point?
I don't know what's going on, but all I know is it's got the upside with Israel is that everybody in Israel that turns 18 has to go through military training.
Right.
They have to. So every adult in Israel is military trained. So basically the whole country's an army.
But that was part of its setup and design. Like, that came from Sweden.
Right.
So, for those that don't remember, Israel was set up out of the Second World War by the United Forces. And it's been, it was done by land that was recovered during the Second World War. There was a big debate whether they would, and I don't remember who the leader was that chose to take Palestine, to give them Palestine instead of Germany, because there was a large debate during that time.
Yes.
Well,
there's been a large debate ever since.
Well, I think there's been a large debate ever since, but I also think that what is going on now has really very little to do with Israel. And I don't know if people actually would get that in the news.
What's more about going on with the Jews, actually, not Israel.
No, not even that. Look at who's backing it. Who's playing the political game with it, and that is Russia.
Oh.
If you ever notice, when Russia's up to bullshit, suddenly Israel will have a problem.
Right.
And then, Russia will come in and support Palestine to create the U.S. ain't doing enough to support Israel, blah, 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 And it's all a PR game, a shell game to go, oh, don't watch what we're doing over here in Ukraine. Because they've done this a number of times.
Right. I'm not really up. I'm not really up to date with all the politics. I don't really watch the news. I know about the Israeli attack, but I don't trust Russia. I don't trust Ukraine. I don't like that Russia's advanced on Ukraine. I don't think that's necessary. I don't believe in war, at all. I don't believe in anyone getting hurt or dying, over a piece of dirt, land,
Right.
I don't believe in war. Yeah. Hey, Kate, is it Kilrin? Hi, Kilrin. Is that it?
Yeah.
Kilrin.
It's Brenda.
Hi, Kilrin.
That's
Brenda.
her username. Yeah.
Oh, hi, Brenda.
But no, it's, I don't know. I've been really cynical here this past few weeks and been digging into some stuff. And it's like, gee, this and this occurred and all of this occurred. And then, we start having problems over here. Who's being the pawn in the game? But I discovered something, and you may want to watch though. The U.S. isn't getting all the news.
Who's not getting all the news? Sorry.
The U.S. We don't get all our news. Like, it's filtered.
Oh yeah, news is always. Look, we don't really know. Look, we only know what people choose to tell us, right? That's all news, people, everywhere, all over the world. What really goes on behind the scenes is way more intense and cloak and dagger. That's where they get movies from, like, all the spy movies, 007. What really goes on behind the scenes is almost exactly like that. A whole other lot of thing is going on. We don't know really what's going on. We just get told what the surface, very surface of things. That's why I don't watch the news.
So what's your news station back home?
I don't watch the news.
No, when you were in Australia, what was your news
station?
I
don't remember. We had like 3 channels on our TV set, and it was ABC, Just the Australian Broadcasting Company. We had Channel 7, which was, I don't know, we had Channel 9. That was it, basically. And the news was just the news. So there was no...
Australian Broadcasting Company. Front page, top story.
What about it? I don't know. I haven't listened to Australian news in 30 years. I don't know.
I know.
What's the latest on the Australian broadcasting? We only knew local news, a little bit about overseas. I really didn't listen. I'm not really a news person. I'm not a political person. I'm more into entertainment and living my life the best way I can live it, and I don't get myself involved. As long as I'm earning a living, as long as I'm okay, my family's okay, that's my main focus.
Right.
Yeah.
So the referendum, not all votes are created equal. The Voice debate has put the worst of Australia on display, and Indigenous people deserve better. Alexandria family of 4 among 19 Australians trying to leave Gaza. No power, no food, no end in sight. The life for millions of Palestinians trapped into Gaza. Former liberal minister says W's Voice arguments are not factual and create fear and diversity. Don't do this on your ballot paper if you want your vote to count in the referendum. So, there's other things going on. Why has
Australia is highly anti-Semitic and highly racist, number one. Number two, Australia, you are mandated to vote. You cannot not vote. You have to vote. You get fined if you don't vote. Australian politics is very corrupt.
Right.
It always has been, but I don't involve myself in it. That's it.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
But there's also other articles like, why has China decided to release Australian journalist Qing Liu now?
I don't know. I don't know anything about anything. I'm the worst
you
person.
Haven't heard,
I don't know who that is. Like, who is that?
It was a journalist that was accused of supplying state secrets. It spent 3 years in a Chinese prison. Here's how she made it home. Okay, so you have that. All right. Comparative to, we will go to CNN.com, US. The front page is the Gaza war. Iran has long been one of Hamas's financial backers. One of the officers who arrested Elon McKean, convicted of criminal negligent homicide, second officer in the inquiry. So there's nothing about, China releasing anybody. There's nothing about what's going on here. So let's go over to the what I call fake news site. Hello, Fox. How are you? Fox News. Breaking news: Stephen Seglesti drops out of House Speaker's race 1 day after nomination to be replaced for McKenzie. Israel soldiers have burning spirits and vows to kill the Hamas, the human beast. Professor offers extra credit to students who attend rallies. None of this is anything current. CBS hosts complain about workism being weaponized during an on-air rant. If you notice, there's no conversation. Oh, Bigfoot believed to be caught on camera during couple's romantic getaway.
Now there's news that
There's top news, y'all. Where is anything about the current conflicts going on, about the American dollar going on? None of that.
Right.
None of that on their front page. On your front page. This is why I say Fox isn't a news channel.
This is why it's not worth looking at the news. This is why it's not worth
Right.
Yeah. You're not going to
Now,
learn.
if you go over to Sky News, which we love Sky News. Sky News is very lovely. They do very good reporting. This is PK's news. Top page, the Iran-Hamas war. Top stories, 50 children killed in Gaza. You know, U.S. sending Navy ships and spy planes to support Israel. 4 UK Jewish schools closed in interest of safety of our precious children. Flood risk warrants are up to 1.5 million homes across melting Arctic seas. Has anybody in the U.S. heard about the Arctic seas swelling to an alarming rate? No. You know, PM should put his money where his mouth is if he wants to protect the UK's military powers. Analysts, he might not say it publicly, but Steamer thinks power is coming his way. You know, September's temperature data was unprecedented, and researchers are baffled on why the extremes are so high. Fireworks displays and computer games among fake conflict videos viewed millions of times on social media. Everything you need to know about the war. You know, some planes being intercepted with possible hygiene, stuff being smuggled into Israel. Cher denies allegations she hired 4 men to kidnap her 47-year-old son. Does anyone know why the Sonny was kidnapped?
Whose son?
Cher's son.
I don't know who that is.
Cher?
Oh, Cher. That's his Sonny and Cher.
Yes.
Her son was kidnapped.
Supposedly, she supposedly said that it was rumored and released by the Sun that she hired 4 people to kidnap him.
Cher hired 4 people to kidnap her son.
Supposedly, this was reported by the Sun, and the Sun has said no. You know, Cher had to come out and publicly say, "I didn't kidnap my son."
How can she kidnap her son? Her son's an adult. I mean,
right.
I don't understand.
Yeah, but there was allegations made in the British press that she hired someone to kidnap her son, hired 4 men to kidnap her son, and it's like, I didn't hire anybody to kidnap my son. The rumor is not true, and declined comment further when asked about the incident.
Good.
Now, she did, get him into rehab when he was 36. But this is what I'm saying is, that was never news.
That's why you don't watch the news, see, because you don't learn anything of anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So let's get on to a different subject, because,
Okay.
So I have a client,
Mm-hmm.
Particularly drove me insane in a very particular
right.
I don't want to mention any names, of course, but are you shuffling your cards? Are you?
Always.
So he calls many advisors, and he is trying to get his wife back. She's left him,
mm-hmm.
and no amount of telling him and advising him worked.
Right.
He was stalking her, and I kept telling him, you need to stop. You need to leave her alone. Let her come to you. Let her come to you. let her come to you, but he wouldn't listen.
Mm-hmm.
So one day, he happens to be where she is because he's stalking her, right? And she runs up to him. She says, I'm wondering if you've got a tracker on me. You've got a tracker on me because you're stalking me. And she's hysterical, right? Because he's freaking her out. So I said, now, from now on, leave her alone. She will come to you. Doesn't leave her alone. Doesn't leave her alone. Doesn't leave her alone. Finally, he goes, I'll leave her alone. Right. Okay, good. So I don't hear from him for a few days, which is unusual, right? I'm thinking to myself, he got in touch with her again. And he did get in touch with her again. And now he got a letter from the lawyer. So he's one millimeter away from getting a protective order. Yeah.
Right.
So, and he goes, well, what if I tell her I'm in another relationship? If because I have met someone. I said, well, if you tell her that, it's definitely over. And then he went crazy. And so I said, you've already told her that. He goes, yeah. I said, well, that's the end of that marriage. She's never coming back now. End of story. End of story. People don't want to listen and they don't want to learn. And that is starting to make me feel a little bit frustrated because they want something. They call us, and then they don't listen to us.
Right.
And and I like to tell it like it is.
Well, I do too. I tell it like it is. However, and this is my however, there's 3 problems with this situation, in my opinion. One, he ain't listening to a damn thing anybody says, him, except for the ones that are like, keep it up. You got to show her that you want her.
I'm sure there were people advising him to do that. I'm sure there was someone that advised him to tell her that he met somebody else in order to make her jealous. I'm confident because he went ahead and did all of that and destroyed everything. Any hope. They're not going to get back together again now. It's finished.
Well, and he created that.
Yeah.
And people aren't going to like this. But the other problem I have here is what I call the observer effect. It's a principle in psyche. Well, it's a principle in physics. And I think it's very true to our readings also. This is why I don't like clients calling me that often. Call me after something happens. Like if I say she's going to call you in 3 weeks, if she doesn't call you in 3 weeks, don't call me for another week. Give it time.
Right. Yes.
And people do not like this. They do not like this theory. I've actually had to put a few of them on block and go, no, if you want this to happen, don't call anybody. Leave it the hell alone.
Yeah.
Because on an energetical level, let's say that you were doing this and you were wanting a reading about you and your daughter. If you had a white carpet in your living room and you called 50 advisors, and they all had muddy footprints. By the time you got done, you'd have a black carpet in your living room. That's problem 1. Problem 2 is you told him, and everyone else is probably the majority have said, leave her alone. After the 3rd call of him not doing what I have advised, I would ask him, why are you calling me? You don't listen to me. Are you just...
I said that. I said all of that to him. All of it.
Yeah.
I said that to him. I don't know why you call me, And then he goes, but this advisor said that. And I said, look, I'm not responsible for what other advisors tell you. I'm telling you what I tell you, and that's all I'm going with. I'm not really concerned about what other advisors are telling you. And you're like, why are you calling me? Why aren't you calling these other advisors that have told you it's contrary to what I'm telling you? If that's who you believe. Right, I've told him all of that, and so then there was another one recently. Well, she actually called in my financial listing, which is my most expensive one, so that was good.
Right,
and she's going on about she had 2 dates with a guy, and but this guy who has blocked her. I don't even know why you would even need to call a psychic for this or an advisor or anyone, right? Told her, I don't want anything to do with you. This is not going to work. This is after, on the 2nd date, she bombarded him with a bunch of texts.
Problem 1.
Yeah. And they were problematic texts. And because he wasn't as amorous on the second date as he was on the first date.
Yeah.
So she bombarded him, and she hardly knows this guy. And she's telling me, "Oh, I know he's my soulmate, and I know I've had shamans tell me that this is going to work." And I said, "Well, why are you calling me? You have your answer." But I said, "But I'm telling you one. I'm going to tell you something completely contradictory of what anyone else has told you. This is not going to work. He's not your soulmate. He's not going to come back. He's not going to contact you. He hasn't contacted you." This was way back in April, by the way. They had this date. And I said, "He told you to leave him alone. He's blocked you. So what is making you think in reality that he's coming back? He's not coming back. That's it. Never going to happen. Move on. Now."
You've already destroyed this.
So I was expecting this great big 1 star with this 5 paragraphs of how evil I am. And there was no feedback at all.
Yeah.
Nothing. She knew I was right.
Nice. But at the same time, people don't like it. If you go through and read my 1 stars, you're going to love them.
Yeah, mine are amazing.
Prediction seemed on point, but advisor is rude and cold.
Oh, yes, I'm a very rude, cold person.
I'm very rude to you when you call 40 times, you spend thousands of dollars, and you don't take one bit of my advice.
Right.
Don't text them. Stop stalking their freaking social media.
Right.
Men like to work. Men are still stuck in the age of working for attention. They have been, they will be, they haven't grown up with this.
What people miss, that don't understand, is, say you've had an argument with someone, and a bit of a breakup, and they've left you. Like, for example, that guy, I said, she hasn't left the marriage, but she's left you to teach you a lesson in order to make you treat her differently to what you treat her. Right. And if she finds that you've learned that lesson, she'll come back. He obviously wasn't. He didn't learn a lesson. What I want people to do sometimes in some dynamics is better to leave someone alone, give them time to get over whatever frustration they're experiencing, and then give them the opportunity to miss you.
Right.
To start thinking about the good times and to miss you, and then for everything to calm down. Once they start missing you, they'll come back. When they come back, start to make new, good, positive memories with them. Don't make every encounter about where's the relationship going? Where do I stand? You got to make a commitment to me. Don't make it about that, because a commitment can't be forced. Love can't be forced. Things will develop naturally over a period of time. And if you spend every moment with that person making them crazy, they'll go. If you spend every moment with that person creating new memories, meaning you go get a pizza together, you go on a walk, you go out to dinner, you go see a movie, you read an interesting book, you discuss different things, right? And make each encounter positive, they'll walk away with a positive memory, and then they can't wait to see you again. And then you talk about, everything else again, and they'll see you again, and it becomes a really positive encounter each and every time, to the point where it builds up and commitments are made, right? And then if there's something, wait for something real and serious to discuss if something real and serious comes up, right?
Right.
And don't assume, a lot of people assume that as soon as someone's tired, or as soon as someone's busy, or as soon as their schedule changes and they can't be as available, they're always cheating. It's never what they really say it is. They're always cheating. It's always cheating.
And that's what
drives me insane. It drives me insane.
Well, the other thing that drives me insane, is, people who get into relationships and suddenly they own this person.
Another big mistake.
Very big mistake. Very big mistake. And here's why. You don't own anybody. Even if you have that dynamic, you technically don't own them. You don't let yourself be fooled that you do. The other part of it, and the part that gets me the most sometimes, is they get into this dynamic. The dynamic is chaotic to begin with. They go through the motions of instant coffee relationship, and then it blows up, and you're like, why did it blow up on me? You didn't lay your foundation. You know, if you go and you build a house, it's going to fall over if it doesn't have a foundation.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. They don't let anything build.
No.
You know, like that guy, for example, the one I told you about that stalked his wife. Oh, if she calls him, well, sure, you want to be friends? I said, yeah, sure, you want to be friends. But without a friendship, you can't build a marriage up again. Right. You're not going to be, if you're not willing to be a friend, then there's no marriage.
Right.
End of story. And it doesn't compute. Doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way. And
people
it's
don't
like,
get it.
Well, you know, and the advent of social media has been the worst thing for relationships.
Oh, I tell you, God, that's another thing. Oh, I saw on Facebook. I said, how are you letting Facebook decide your life for you? Facebook is a social media platform that is not completely in touch with reality. People will write anything on Facebook. You can make a picture look like anything on Facebook. You can write your status on Facebook and it's meaningless. Because things, yeah, what you need to look at is a person and the reality of their life as you see it in reality, right? Not what you see on social media, because social media is kind of like people faking it all the time. They're going to put post whatever they think is going to have impact or whatever, and their status that changes. Or I mean, some people say I'm in a relationship, but no, they're not in one because I don't want to be bothered by anybody. I say I'm married, so I don't get bothered by anybody. But I'm not married, right? So people place way too much importance on social media when it comes to their relationships. Way too much.
Well, and here's the thing, and I swear, as people look at my social media, they probably think I am mean and nasty and mad at the world. Because I, will post them a statistic. Well, not sadistic, but like, boohoo, not me stuff. Very cold. Because I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I thought it was funny. And, I'll get people all the time, are you mad at somebody? Are you mad at me? No. Why would I be mad at you? Why do you feel guilty? Well, you posted this, or my favorite one is, are you and Joe okay? Yeah, me and Joe are fine.
Yeah, look, I really feel that people place way too much importance on ridiculous things. Seriously. And they don't place importance on their partner. The person next to them, the one that they want the relationship with, is the least important person to them. They listen to all the gossip, they look at social media, but the person sitting next to them is saying, oh, I'm exhausted, I've been working really hard, and I just want to stay home and be in my own space for a bit. They might have diarrhea one night and they can't get to the phone, they don't want to see anyone. Oh no, they're cheating. And I spoke to blah blah, and they said, yes, they saw him talking to some woman on blah blah, and I've got Facebook, and oh my god, and the poor guy is in the bathroom dying, right? So, and that's all he's doing. This whole scenario, this whole story is built up on what they see on social media, etc. And in reality, the guy's in the bathroom dying, diarrhea, and he's tired, and he's human, but he can't be human.
Oh, my favorite. This is my favorite so far here lately.
Yeah.
He's been on social media for 3 days. He's always active on social media. It's always Instagram or whatever. If you leave a tab open on an iPad, I just recently discovered this because I bought myself.
I've always known this. You've got a green dot saying you're active, but you're not. I know.
Exactly.
Try explaining that to 5,000 people a day.
I would love for people, or he's liking all these girls' pictures. Of course he's liking these girls' pictures. Have you seen the man's hand? And they're like, what do you mean? Like, if you are on TikTok and you are scrolling with your thumb, or you're on Instagram and you are scrolling with your thumb, you will like stuff. Like, my feed was messed up until I figured this out. You like things, just by moving along the page. And I'm like, this is not designed for people with real hands.
I like horror stories and some nice TikTok horror stories, and I'll play a lot of them.
Right. But you have to consciously hit that button.
Correct.
When you hold your phone the next time, guys. Yeah. When you hold the phone, when you hold your phone, or next time you're out with your man and he's holding his phone, look how he holds it and how he scrolls. He scrolls with his stuff.
Yes, everybody does.
Everybody does. Okay.
Oh, well, not everyone. Some people do their finger. I always do with my thumb.
Right. Yeah. If you're sitting there scrolling up through things with your thumb, they have designed it for you to be able to instantly like things as you're scrolling. And all you're doing is you're touching and moving the screen up.
Yeah.
Especially if you've got a big hand.
Look, I like a lot of things. And so a lot of things I like. There's some cute guys talking. Doesn't mean I like the cute guy that's talking. There's some pretty women that are talking. Doesn't mean I like the pretty women that are talking. I like the content of what they're saying, not their physical appearance. So it's social media is the last place to look if you want to know the status of your relationship. The first place to look is at the person you're in a relationship with. They're the person that knows what the status is, not their friends, not your friends, not social media, not anyone except the person you're with. And if you don't believe in the person you're with, but you expect them to believe in you, that's a problem too. Because 9 times out of 10, another issue is that, is he sleeping with anybody else? Is he doing this? Is he talking to that? And I go, no. Then, well, I had this other guy that I know, but hang on a minute. So you're talking to somebody else. You're doing all the stuff that you don't want him to do, but you want to do it all. Right? And or the other way around, goes both ways. So hang on a minute. So there's a double standard here.
Right. So
it's okay for you to talk to other people, talk to your ex, get on social media and like all these posts and do all this stuff, right? But as soon as your partner does it, it's a problem.
Right. And it's only a problem for, you because you think that you're that easily replaceable.
Their self-esteem comes into play. Yeah.
And exactly. That's where self-worth, self-esteem comes into play. That's where you've got to look at them and go, honey.
And not only that, what comes into play is they're projecting, which means what they're also could be saying is their partner is that easy to replace because they're looking at other people.
Right.
So they think, I can replace my partner that easily. Then they think, well, therefore I'm easily replaced as well.
Right. So where's your self-value at?
It's a
where's
combination.
Your self-value at?
It's self-value on one hand, and it's thinking even more of yourself on another hand, like you're not genuinely in love with your partner and you can really easily replace your partner. So it's 2 things. It's not just one thing. It's not always low self-esteem.
It's a multi-level thing.
Yeah.
And, the other thing is, women, lovely ladies, put this in your big book to remember. Men are lazy. They were born lazy. They have the idealism of laziness. They are lazy. When I say that, it's because, why does he have a dating profile? Because he didn't go in there and delete it. Match.com's the worst.
But the thing is, when they complain about their partner having a dating app on their phone, they still have a dating app on their phone as well, which is why they're checking on their dating app. So this is what drives me insane. I can see I checked him on Match.com and he still has the app. Well, you still have the app as well because you're checking his app.
Right.
You're checking his profile on your app. So get rid of your app for starters and then remind him to get rid of his.
Right. The other day I had to have Joe do what I call digital cleanups. When I hand him the phone and say, "Can you like delete these things?" And it's because it's not that it's a big problem for us to have things on our phones. It's the point of I've not used it in 6. That's why Samsung designed that thing where it puts apps to sleep after 6 months.
Right.
So remember, your man is lazy when it comes to digital stuff.
I'm always upgrading my phone and my apps and going through them and figuring out what I don't need, what I do need, etc., and deleting what I don't need. But not everyone's like me, so
yeah, exactly. If your man is cheating, you aren't going to know about it until he decides to fuck up, or you call up and we bust these ass.
If someone's cheating and they're just like in a regular relationship, like because it really doesn't make any sense you'd be cheating in a regular relationship because you're you're not married for 30 years and with houses and properties and money and whatnot to lose, right? So if you're not bored, you need some sort of novelty. If someone is dating other people along with you, then that person was never committed to begin with. Right. There was never a time that person was committed to you. So you have to look at the dynamic of the relationship, because 9 times out of 10, I will tell you, and I will say this, I think Baba's cheating on me. So I don't think he's cheating on you. Why? But it just doesn't feel like you guys are in a committed relationship to begin with.
Right.
Right. So they're just, it's not about cheating. It's just that the relationship isn't committed yet. It's not at that level. Right. When people are married or in a committed relationship, and usually this cheating isn't as common and as people think it is. Cheating happens under certain circumstances where people are genuinely not satisfied with their relationship. They're not getting what they need from their current relationship anymore. I mean, they used to, but things have changed. They've grown away. They've grown apart. They want something different. They want the novelty of having sex with somebody else. Might be a one-night stand. The sexual things become a little bit boring. Instead of looking in the relationship and trying to fix it within, they're lazy, like you said, and they look outside of the relationship to try and get some stimulation going. Or they're just simply not, because in order to fall in love with somebody else, you have to be emotionally available to do that.
Yeah.
All right. Therefore, you're not in love with the person you're with anymore, or you were never in love with them to begin with. So if you go off and fall in love with someone else, that marriage was dead for a long time. And they just didn't tell their spouse that the marriage was dead for a long time. They weren't honest about their feelings. Hence, they cheat and fall in love with someone else and go off with someone else. Meanwhile, the person's left there. I invested 10 years in this person, and they're destroyed. So people aren't honest when they feel
or I wasted my time for 10 years with this person. No, you didn't. You learned something. You learned either what you didn't like or what you liked.
People can waste other people's time. If they don't tell them their feelings have changed and they need out of this relationship, that is actually stealing their time. Because now, I feel that it is. Because if they tell them, they're honest enough to say, look, and strong enough, the feelings have changed, I'm not in love with you anymore, and base that music, that gives that person the opportunity. They've got the truth. The truth always, ironically, hurts less, ironically, than being lied to.
Right.
They can then move, they can then separate, do what they need to do in order to separate their lives. And then that person can go on now and get over that and work through their pain and meet someone new. And meanwhile, the person who's not in love with that person anymore can then go off and do what they want to do in the story. But if you're staying in a relationship for the money and the security, etc., and you're just using that person up while you go off and fall in love with someone else, that's wrong. I think that's wrong. I think they should be honest.
I find that wrong. The other thing that I find wrong is when, relationships take work. Okay, don't care who they are, who's in the relationship. they take some damn work.
They do need work.
But, so if you think your man's cheating, I want you to look at him and go, and just examine how much work he's doing. If you're normally happy and everything's fine and you think everything's great, and all of a sudden you think your man's cheating, I want you to sit there and question real quickly, how much work's he doing? Is he working 80 hours a week at a job, and he's, making sure that you guys have date night, and he's making sure that the kids are picked up from school, and he's doing this, and another. When's the man got time to cheat? I had a client for years now. Think she's amazing. However, about every 4 months, she will call me and be convinced her man is cheating. This man runs he's a CEO of a company. He is the coach of a football team. He is, I think he's part of like PTA, and he's part of a think tank, and he's off doing 100 different other things. And I will ask her, when does he have time? Have you looked at his date book here lately? Well, yeah, he's got this third Thursday of every month that he has 2 hours unbooked. He has to be sleeping with his secretary. No, he's not. The man is like trying to get a bit of rest during that time.
It's another thing, can't be tired. Men can't be tired.
If
they're tired and they want to be left alone, just leave me alone. I'm irritable.
Yeah.
Leave me alone. I'm not in a good mood. That's exactly when they go in. You see someone else cheating, you're this, you're that, and then the big fight ensues. Then they're on the phone to me.
Yeah. And then I love it when I get the man and it's like, she's always accusing me of cheating. I'm like, what's she needing?
Right.
Like when your partner starts accusing you of cheating, I want you to ask them point blank, what do you need? Because that's an attention-seeking behavior.
Exactly.
All right. Well, darling, it's been great talking with you.
As always, been great talking to you. Sorry, I'm a bit dumb on the politics. A bit ignorant.
You're not dumb on the politics at all, honey. It's a lot of complicated moving parts.
It is. I'm just completely neutral. I have no political voice either way.
Alarmed. I will put it that way.
What's going on in Israel has really impacted on me in a very big way.
Right.
And so that's that I'm very concerned with and interested in. But apart from that, everything else that's going on, as long as I'm earning a good living, as long as my daughter's earning a good living and my family's looked after, that's all I care about, as you know, because I'm always paranoid about King. Always, honey,
I've been in this business going on 32 years. Yes, I recently had to put that on a document. Because they actually wanted the real numbers, and it's like, okay. When I started out, the company was called PRN, and then the next company was called Ask Now, and the next company after that was called Live Advice. You know what happens when you go and you look at my resume? It's like, well, this one died and that one moved, and you've been on Keen for more than 20 years. I've been on Keen 18 years. You learn that business, just because one goes away, the next one steps in. And you get over that fear.
Oh, not the fear of losing like Keen. I fear just being busy all the time.
Oh, please.
Yeah.
There's always somebody there. You will get busy. And if not, guess what? We'll open up another vein. You can open up another revenue stream.
True. But like that's all I care about. I care about earning a living, doing my job properly. I've been doing this probably longer than you have. I mean, on Keen, it's over 23 years now. How time flies, and I've been doing the psychic thing since the 90s.
right,
early 90s, I guess, so it's been a long time.
Well, here's the thing. I think that you may have started a year or two with Excelsior before I started with PRN. And you learn that it's just the nature of the business. It's the same company. It just changes names. It's the same policies. It just changes names. I'm waiting for, it takes a lot for me to get excited. I'm on a lot of dev teams and a lot of advising teams. And they're always like, why are you so humdrum? And it's like, I seen this 20 years ago. I seen this 15 years ago. I haven't seen any major innovations in 5 years in our industry. Give me something to get excited about. We're going to release this new report of shiny things to tell you your matrix. And it's like, oh, so you're tracking call time again. Let me go and pull that worksheet out. Where's my blue binder? Here's the call sheet record. Do you need it so that you can actually design the database off of it? And they're like, what? And it's like, this is an old game. This game has been the same game for 300 years. Let's not redo if you're going to break the wheel and make a new one, can you at least make it so that it rolls a little faster this time?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, darling. I have to go. We have to go. We both have clients waiting. I will see everybody later.
See you later, everybody.